Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone, to the Javii and
Zinya Show. Hey, y'all. Sister Girl Zinya here. And of course, today's topic is Are you there? Is anyone listening? Hello? Are you there?
Are you listening?
So we just wanted to say thank you so much for liking our show. Thank you so much for commenting on our show. Continue to comment. Of course, you are able to go on our Facebook page, the Javii and Zinya Show. You can talk about anything that you like to mention. We will definitely bring it up on our show because we want to hear from all of you when you have your comments, when you have some concern.
Yes.
So definitely comment away. Also, if you want to connect with us through our email address. Our email is Javii and Zinya, that's JaviiandAnd, Zinya, Nya, at gmail.com.
And also today, if you guys would like to, during the show, call in, and we love to hear from you. We always love to hear from our viewers that are listening to us live. And the number is area code 301-429-9247.
Absolutely. So I hope that you all got that number because it's very important. We really want to hear from you because we have a dear friend of mine that we just kind of connected right away, and she's a therapist. So if y'all need somebody to look into your mind and tell you all about your concerns, tell you about you even. Mm-hmm. Am I right? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Tell you about you, and you just need someone to really just kind of talk to and confide in. Mm-hmm. We have a beautiful young lady here. Her name is Sharon Lawrence, who has her own practice. She's a therapist. Yes. So that means all of you therapists that are out there, counselors that are out there, doctors, lawyers, all of the professionals who deal with people on a regular basis, mm-hmm. She's here to service you because guess what? We need somebody to talk to. All us as leaders need someone mm-hmm. to talk to.
That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. So, and are you listening? I mean, when we find that we talk to people who really don't listen. And to have a professional licensed person that you can actually go to and who will actively listen. It's funny because Zinya and I were discussing coming here to the studio. I had an issue and I kind of got out of I was upset, kind of mad because I had a conversation earlier with my daughter, and she wasn't listening. She didn't listen because evidently if she had listened, she would have done what I told her. But you know, when we find that we're actually talking to people and they don't want to listen, all they hear is womp 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 womp, and they never hear what you actually are saying to them because they're not actively listening. And to actually have a professional that you can sit and talk with who's actively listening to your problems and concerns, and we'll find, I'm pretty sure throughout the show, that you have your answer. You just don't know what it is and you can't solve for it. And they are licensed and trained to help us to find those answers.
Absolutely. And it's just funny that you said that, Javii, because you remember back in the day that Charlie Brown cartoon when all the adults, am I right? All the adults, whenever they talk, is wom 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 wom. That means that the children are not actually listening to their parents, or just listening to anybody because it's just a subliminal message and they can't really hear anything. Right. Oh my goodness! But guess what? We have someone here just for you. I don't know about y'all, but I need counseling. I'm a sick puppy. I need somebody to talk to.
The couch is ready.
I'm serious.
The couch
can I make an appointment?
Yes, you can.
I mean, like right now.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
I'm serious.
Yeah, but I mean, and the one thing that I feel that people do is put a stigma on going to seek help, going to talk to someone, going to lie down on that couch, as they say. They want to say, oh, I'm not crazy. No, you're not crazy. And most of the people that go speak to a professional are far from crazy. It's just life issues. think that every day, day to day, our jobs are stressful, our children are stressful, our significant others, husbands are stressful. Just the day to day life stresses us. So we find that we need that outlet. We need an active listening ear to help just solve for X, solve for that problem. Help us talk through what we're going through.
Absolutely.
And we're going to just go on and give the platform to Miss Sharon, because she has so much to pour in.
Thank
to
you.
all of us.
To all of us. And we're
you.
listening. We're really listening.
I'm
really
listening.
listening.
Yes,
I'm listening.
Well, thank you so much, ladies, for having me. I am a licensed clinical social worker. I just launched a brand new private practice in Largo, Maryland, Sela Wellness and Therapeutic Services.
Yay!
And I am a therapist for therapists and other professionals. I do see couples, and I do provide anger management groups and counseling sessions as well. But the biggest piece of the practice is about providing therapy for therapists, clinicians, case managers, social workers, counselors, whoever you may be, and other professionals, to make sure that you are taking care of you. There are so many people that are giving,
Yeah.
and they go home and they think about all that they've given, but there's nothing to replenish themselves.
Right.
Yes.
And
Right.
so you constantly live in this place of, I have to give, I'm needed, or the need to be needed,
Yes.
and never see yourself as a priority.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. I can relate to
And
that.
so you walk in this place sometimes of emptiness,
Yes.
loneliness, because nobody understands really what you're dealing with, what you're trying to manage in your own mind, your
Right.
thoughts. When you talk to friends and family, like you said, wonk, wonk, wonk.
Yes.
That's exactly what happens, because either people really don't want to listen, or they don't know how to respond
Okay.
to what you're giving them.
Okay.
And so that's why it is so important sometimes, if you don't have that herd or that circle to kind of connect to, go to a professional.
Yes.
Because therapy may not be for everyone.
Okay.
There's some people who have a good, circle of family and friends that they can sit down and hash it out.
Okay.
But then
Right.
there are some that do not have that. And it is so imperative to go, whether it's a chair or a couch or whatever you want to call it, a group session, go and sit down and get what you need.
Okay.
So
And
that mentally that you're okay.
Let me ask you this question: Is it because people that do not go and find that outlet, are they the ones that you find sink into a depression and go into a depression state?
It varies. I mean, the risk can be higher
Okay.
if you're not talking to someone, and depending on what you're going through.
Okay.
For some people, depression is very situational. It may be something that happened, it's short term, but for some people, it can really be a lifelong challenge.
Okay.
So there are people who are in treatment on a regular basis. Something can still happen and cause them to slip right back into a depressive state.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But the risk can definitely be heightened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. And it is just kind of ironic, because families, they don't talk together anymore. They don't, like, usually used to be like every Friday night, the families would come together and they would have family night, sit
Game
down
night,
and they watch
dinner,
it,
whatever.
game night, and they don't really come together to talk about the things they want to talk about.
And a lot of it comes from me growing up. We sat down and ate dinner. We sat at the table and we ate dinner, and the conversations came out that way, where we would communicate, and our parents taught us how to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Whereas now everything's microwave. You get yours, you get yours, you get yours, and you go off to the TVs, and you in your own world, or you're in your phone, and trying to figure out what your own independent life. So we find that we isolate ourselves from each other.
That's
And
a big issue.
There's no communication to have an outlet.
That's definitely a big issue. I mean, you have a lot of people that they only know how to communicate via text.
Right.
And when there is a big issue, they kind of go within and they don't talk to anyone about what's happening.
That's right.
Yeah, and so there are literally youth and adults who do not know how to have a conversation, especially when there is a problem. It's almost like you're pulling it constantly out of them, trying to figure out what's going on, and they don't even know how to tell you. They don't even know how to start or tell you where the issue began, what's happening, how they feel. They just can't put it into words what they're feeling in terms of the symptoms, you know, how long it's been there, what their goal is to get better. It's like a block that's up. Yeah. And so you're literally living in, you might as well say, a bubble.
Right.
And that bubble can be turmoil.
Yes.
Because you're fighting within yourself, trying to come out and figure out what's going on. They don't like the place, but they don't know how to come out of it.
Okay.
Yeah. And so talking, you're right, it doesn't happen anymore. The communication is almost non-existent. You know? So that's why we're trying to make sure that we're making people more aware.
Okay.
So that we can reduce the stigma associated with seeking help. That nothing is wrong because you sought help. And so that one of the things I talk about is trauma-informed care, and that is the way in which you approach a person who is seeking help. You're not looking at them in the manner of which what's wrong with you. You're saying what happened to you.
Okay. I can know.
So they feel welcome. They feel safe. So anyone that comes into my office, that is their safe place. And then I help them create their own safe place. So when they walk out of that office in between sessions, if they're feeling anxious, depressed, whatever, and they're having a hard time trying to regulate, they can go back to where they think their safe place is.
Okay.
And kind of regulate themselves. And that's called self-regulation.
Okay.
And so that's very important when they can start to feel empowered to work through their issues in between the sessions.
Okay.
Yeah. But they have to know that it's safe to talk. And then hence you get a chance to chop at the stigma little by little.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's and that's a key. That's a key that she just stated. Safe to talk. We find ourselves so many times, especially as women, in a place where we just got to get it out and we got to talk about it, and we end up talking to a friend and we end up hearing it again. One good thing about talking to a professional is you can talk about it and you don't have to worry about hearing it again.
Yes.
You don't have to worry about, am I going to, show up on my job, or am I going to go home and this that I so openly talked about, revealing my inner and my true self, and now all of a sudden I hear it again and it's not told in the context in which I told it, because the person who's talking about it isn't trying to help me. Because if they were, they wouldn't be spreading what I shared with them.
Yes.
So we find that I know in the past that I found that I wanted to talk and wanted to speak out, but that kept me silent. That kept me with my turmoil inside because I didn't want to hear it again.
You didn't want someone to bring it up.
Right.
As if they didn't understand, but almost like, you still having that problem? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you dealt with that yet? Yeah.
you still working on that?
Yeah, like, get over it.
Right.
That's the biggest one. Get over it. When is this going to be over so we can continue doing what we need to do? And you're like, yeah, it's not that simple.
Right.
It is not that simple. And there, like I said, for some people, it's situational. But for some people, this is a lifelong issue.
Okay.
And so it's almost like saying, you should be saying, instead of get over it, you okay? Do you need anything? Let me know when you're ready to talk.
But then we got, see the thing about doing that is you being a person have to give of yourself.
That's right.
Okay? And that's where I'll talk about you, but I don't want to help you. That's where we find a lot of people are.
They'll say it, but they really don't want to hear it.
Yeah, again, you need some help. And as soon as I say, yeah, I do, I need some help, they be like, oh, okay, well, I got XYZ to do. And then they'll put me off.
Right. And that's why you got to call a professional.
Yes, yes, that's why you got to call on a professional.
But you also, hopefully, you know who you can call.
Right.
And hopefully the person that is extending the offer to you is genuine.
Okay.
Yes.
That's the hope, is that if they say it, they mean it.
Yes.
And will follow through in connecting you.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, if someone calls me and says, okay, I need information, and it's beyond the scope of my expertise,
Okay.
I'm going to find that number and connect them to the resource.
Okay.
I'm not going to try and take on something that I know I'm not capable
Right.
of managing, but I'm going to make sure that they at least get connected. And then I'll go back and say, how did this work out for you?
Right.
So hopefully it's genuine,
Yes.
and that person follows through in helping this person connect.
Okay.
That's right.
And making themselves available. That's what I would ask of people, anyone watching, even if you know it's beyond the scope of what you can do, at least be willing to connect them to somebody. Help them find a resource. Because you don't want to say, okay, they need help, and that's the extent of it.
Right.
And you leave the person hanging, and you watch them literally kind of make a downward spiral.
Okay.
Yeah. That's more dangerous.
So Sharon, tell us a little bit more about some of your services that you run. I see that you do individual counseling and life coaching. Life coaching is, I like life coaching because it's something that deals with a larger perspective, and that's kind of my pet peeve, and I know you know that, but you've been telling me all the time, and I'm just kind of ignoring you, but I know it's gonna come back to me again. So my question is, what can, when people come to you, what do you look at as far as what they're needing to pull from their situations?
I look for their strengths.
Okay.
I listen. I do a history taking session.
Okay.
And I had someone say to me today, they had been in counseling before, and no one has ever even asked them about their history. And I was shocked, and I did express. I said, a little bit disappointed that we as clinicians are not trying to find a root
Yes.
of it. So I ask a lot of questions to see, okay, when did the symptoms begin?
Okay.
Is there a history of mental illness or substance abuse?
Yes, yes.
Or whatever the issue is that they're presenting in that moment. Is there a history of it in your family?
Right.
And so I'm literally looking for as much information so that I can connect the dots to what's happening in that moment and what they're presenting with. Because if all they do is come in the door and they say, hey, I have this piece of paper.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds great. Okay, let's look at the paper. No, I want to know, where'd you get the paper from?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who made the paper? Can we look and see what the paper is about?
Right.
I'm gonna dive deeper into it because I want to really know, where is this coming from?
Yes.
If there's an issue with someone saying that they have social anxiety, well, when did it begin? Because I want to know, did something happen? What was the trigger? What was the trauma?
Yes.
So we can try and deal with the trauma. Because if you deal with the trauma, if you deal with the root, you can resolve the issue.
Okay.
Wow.
There are people who try to resolve the issue and they never deal with the trauma or the triggers that come up that cause them to feel a certain way, and they continue to repeat the same behavior, have the same issues,
Yes.
the same symptoms. They kind of just keep resurfacing.
Because they never dealt with the problem.
They never dealt with it. And for some people, they don't even realize that there was a history related to it. I've been in sessions where they'll say, wait a minute, now that you asked me that question, this happened, and I completely forgot that this happened.
Wow.
And so I'm like, okay, let's go deeper.
Right.
You know, on the Cosby Show, when the lady would say, dig deeper.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Dig
Yeah.
deeper. Well, I'm digging deeper.
So
And
is
you
it
have to be, it's the risk you take.
okay?
And I tell everyone, I ask a lot of questions, and I give a lot of homework.
Okay.
Because the work is not in the session. The work is in between the sessions.
Is that the hardest for someone
the
to
hardest.
deal with? Okay.
There are people who have said they're emotionally drained because they can hear me talking to them in between the sessions.
Right, they hear your voice.
They hear my voice. They hear the things that I say.
I can see that.
And I'm saying, because that's the work.
Yes, yes.
If you do not do the work, you have to tell me if you want to continue coming.
Wow.
Because if you're coming to me, it means that we have work to do.
Wow.
That's
major.
Hey, that's just
major.
life. Period. You got to put in the work. If you wanna better yourself and you want to improve your well-being, your mindset, you got to put in the work, ladies and gentlemen. That's the bottom line. In order to get out of a place where you are, people think that it'll happen by osmosis, but it doesn't. It doesn't. And to have a structural homework plan where you can follow the steps, write it out, say it, speak it out, do what you got to do to get it out, makes sense to me.
Wow. We have a question here. I want to call you doctor because technically that is the role that you play. So is it okay if I call you doctor?
No.
Well, unfortunately, that's what I'm hearing and that's what I'm sensing. So that because you are in a clinical
I'm
expertise,
a licensed clinical
you
social
are
worker,
a licensed social worker, but that's your philosophy of what you're doing. And correct me if I'm wrong. I know you don't like the word doctor, but that's just what keeps getting ready to keep coming out of my mouth. So don't hit me. But there is someone here who is watching now, and her name is Cynthia Green. And without my glasses, I'm gonna give it a try. Cynthia, to answer and ask the question so that she can answer it for you. Cynthia said, do you think there is a big difference between counseling and coaching?
Yes.
Wow.
Coaching, because I've had training in both. So I don't just jump right in to say I'm a life coach. I've had training in both.
Okay.
When you're dealing with life coaching, you're dealing with addressing certain issues. The minute mental health presents itself, it takes another turn.
Wow.
You can use some techniques, if there's a goal that they have regarding work or something, you can use some of those techniques and exercises to help them work through things, but you shift your role and it's no longer life coaching.
Okay. Her next question is, and which do you think reaches people right where they are, where they're needing to be?
Starting where they are, exactly where they are.
Okay.
Whatever they are presenting in that moment, I think that's a great question, by the way. You have, when they say meet people where they are, that means that you're hearing everything that they're coming to the table with.
Yes.
And you're hearing them with no judgment.
Right.
Oh, okay. There's that word again.
Yeah.
There's no judgment.
Okay.
There is no, it's that safe place.
Yes.
There is no moment where you're making that person feel uncomfortable about where they are at that time in their life.
Okay.
Especially not knowing how they even got there.
Right. Okay.
And so you're allowing them to sit on that couch.
Yes.
Even if I'm shocked, I don't make a facial expression.
Wow.
Say, okay, tell me more.
Wow.
And so, yes, you meet them exactly where they are. Where do you want to begin? Sometimes I start with history taking, and sometimes depending on how they look when they walk in the room, if they look like they are carrying just multiple bags,
Right.
I go, okay, you're here. You've been on my website. We talk on the phone.
Uh-huh.
Where do you want to begin? And I let them start. But if they come in and they go, okay, well, I have a couple of questions. They ask me questions. I talk about me so that they feel more comfortable.
Yes.
And I go right into history taking if they're ready. And then we kind of go from there. But it can vary at every intake session.
Okay.
It really depends on how they are when they walk in that door.
Wow. So right now, I want to know, because we have a lot of people on our news feed right now that are watching. We want to just kind of take a moment and just do some quick shout outs. I'm going to start from the top here. We're going to do a shout out for Daraine and a shout out for Sharika. James, we see you watching. Clarence, how you doing? Pastor Davis, hi. Michelle, Eric Robinson. And we have Rhonda. We have a lot of them who are watching right now, and there's so many of them, and I'm trying to keep up because they're just continue to add in what they're looking at in our news feed here. Let me go back in here. because there's so many people who are actually watching us on our live show. But because I know there are a lot of you who have questions for Sharon, please come on and dial in 301-429-9247. We want to hear from you because she is listening. Our topic today is, are you there? Is anyone listening? And truly, do we really take the time to listen to each other anymore? Right. Do parents listen to their children anymore, or you just send them off to school? Do any of you at work, do you still have your cooler moments when you're sitting drinking your coffee and you're sitting around the cooler, so to speak? Do you guys talk amongst each other anymore? Do pastors, do you still have your converts of talking to one another every now and then? You need some downtime? Come on and talk to me. Pastor Davis, I know you're watching, sir. If you can comment and help us out here, because we really want to know, because Sharon is here. She's also do therapeutic work for pastors. Yes. And all leaders who are politicians too. Come on, we got some politicians who are on our news feed as well. And Sharon is here waiting for you to call 301-429-9240. And I'm telling you, I'm going to be one of her next customer, because I need to vent out. I carry the world on my shoulders. Sharon will tell you, Javii will tell you, the whole world will probably tell you, yeah, Zinya, she'll do anything for you. But I have to pull back. Because when you do too much, you burn yourself out. And I'm a witness to that. I burn myself out.
I pride myself on helping people learn to say no. It is a complete sentence, especially when it comes to making sure that you're prioritizing you.
Yes. Yes.
It's very important. Yes. You cannot give anyone anything
if you're depleted.
Yes.
I've learned that the hard way.
Empty, and you have given everything to the point that you're not sleeping, you're not eating, you're ripping, you're running, and the phone rings and you're right back out there.
Absolutely.
I've done that, and it's so funny that you would say that. Teachers who say no. I have said yes for so long. Even when I was really active in my church, when on the job, I know my brother, he at one point he used to call me a dedicated idiot. He says, Javii,
wow,
you will go and go and go and go, and where is you? Where are you? And I remember being at his house one day, and he was my therapist for the day, and he said, where did you go?
Yes,
you're not my sister anymore. I don't know where you are. And he and I boo-hooed and cried and snotted and the whole 9 yards, but I had to take back and, like you said, find myself again. I had to literally dig back in and say, where did I go?
Yes.
Because I had completely neglected me. I had given so much to the point where everybody that came to me, oh, I know Javii's going to say yeah. I know Javii's going to do this for me. And to have that giving spirit and that giving heart, they know you're going to say yes. And then you find yourself, like you said, depleted, empty, lonely. You got everybody around you, but I felt like I was on an island. I'm like, when is somebody going to give to me? When is somebody going to say, okay, Javii, you've helped all these people, you've done all this stuff, and then you find yourself going to bed crying, literally, tears streaming, thinking, okay, God, when is somebody going to help take care of Javii? You know, and I know I'm not the only one out there that felt this way or has done it, or... You're right. I literally, guys, I've been riding down the road thinking, okay, they won't get anything from me if I take this left to this Jersey wall. You know what I'm saying? But I've been there, done.
Yes.
You know, and I've really, literally been there where I had to say, you know, go back. And it was a time in my life when kids were little, small. I'm working a full-time job. Got the husband, he got to take care, and then. There's no time for Javii.
Correct.
And if the time I could have been on your couch, woo! I could have been on your couch.
Yes.
Just to release. Just to have that release.
Yep. My husband is the one, he's actually here today, but he's the one, he's shaking his head no. But he's the one that taught me to say no.
Okay.
Because he would constantly say, you give, you give, you give. And when something was going on, he would say, have you heard from so-and-so? And I'll say no. He would go, okay, have you talked to anybody else? No. You know, he would say, you give, 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 and no one is there for you.
Yes.
And my husband being the strong and macho guy, you know, he's not going to show his feelings, but the fact that he kept bringing it up tells me he did not like it.
I can understand that. I
and
can
at some
understand
point,
that.
He was like, you have to start saying no.
Yes.
Because you come in the house tired after you
Exactly.
worked all these
day.
hours, and then you're running to help someone. And I know you have a big heart, like you said. It's the same thing. You give, you give. But at some point, you have to say no.
But you
I'm
know
not
what?
available.
That's the thing. How if you're not a no sayer, how do you get to that place where you can say
practice.
no?
This is what I said to a time. I said, "Is your favorite color purple?" She
No.
said, "No."
Oh.
I said, "Have you been to Hawaii?" No, because she kept saying I can't say no. So I started just asking her random questions.
Okay.
I said, "You do know how to say no." So her assignment for the week, her assignment for the week was to practice saying no with no explanation.
With no explanation.
Because we often feel like you say no, now you have to say
Explain
why you
why.
can't do it,
Right.
as if you owe them all of this information. And you're not doing it to be mean, but you're making sure that you are okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
And when you're able to do it, it doesn't
Yes.
mean you never will
do
help.
it. Right.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying cut it off and you just later everybody, the exit sign. No.
Yes.
We're saying when you know you have nothing left,
Wow.
take a minute, say no, and sit down somewhere. Sit down somewhere, take a rest, spend time with your loved ones, go watch a movie. I wrote a blog last week, and one of the steps I gave them was learn to be friends with yourself. Some people don't know how to
You
be
made me
by
drop my
themselves. Don't break it.
Oh, I can look, and you know what? It's funny you said that, because that's how I got myself together. I got by myself. I got to a point where I didn't go to this place. I didn't go to that place because I felt like if I didn't go, they couldn't ask me.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Like you're
And then,
avoiding people.
yes, and then my kids were saying, "But Ma, you don't go nowhere. You don't do nothing. And how you gonna meet somebody if you don't get out?" But I thank God for this show. Thank God for my business that I'm involved in, Inspire, guys. We're gonna do that a little later.
Awesome.
But it got me out, and it got me around other people where I wasn't in that circle where people would ask me.
Right.
And even if they asked me for help or something, it was something to help me. You know, it wasn't that they were taking from me.
Right.
All right. Javii, my business partners, look, Javii, I need help with this. I need help with that. But it was to benefit me.
Right.
It wasn't to take from me and deplete me when they were asking for my help. You know what I'm saying? And whereas before they were asking for my help to benefit them. It was all about them, what they wanted, what they liked, or what they needed from me, material wise, money wise, the whole 9 yards. But sometimes, and I found this out, guys, sometimes you got to change your circle.
Yes.
You got to change your circle. You got to say goodbye to some friends.
Yes.
And find some new ones. And there's one of our business partners. She's always saying vibrate on a higher level. Vibrate. Are you vibrating on a higher level? And I did not understand that until just recently, where when you start, everything's an energy. So when you start vibrating on that higher level, you start attracting things on that level.
Yes.
And you start seeing things differently. You
Yes.
start viewing your thoughts and your actions differently, and you start making plans to to better yourself, to come out, to say no.
It's a shift in your thinking.
Yes, to say no.
Now, Sila means to pause and meditate.
Okay.
Wow.
And so with Sila comes pause, reflect, revive. So after we talk through your issues and work through some things, you get to kind of think about it. And then the action is revive. Like you said, vibrate on a higher level.
Right.
What are you going to do with the information now that you know something different?
Wow.
So it's a shift in your thinking.
Yes, yes.
And that's the biggest piece that comes along with therapy and talking through things. It's not just to sit on the couch and talk. It is about shifting your thinking to do something different so that you are not in the same place when you started. And that's when I say, are you ready to do the work?
And it's very crucial, you know, for us as human beings. And it's technically it's really unhealthy when we don't open up our minds and when we don't open up on the inside, because no one under any circumstances should not say anything. It's not healthy when we just bottle these things inside. And from myself personally, I used to didn't like people. I was very quiet.
Yes.
I'm totally the total opposite of who I am right now. People out there would tell you, oh yeah, I was really, really quiet. You couldn't hear me when I walked in the room. I would sit off in a corner somewhere and they were like, who is she? Oh,
You've been pulled out.
I've been pulled out. So
the first day we did this radio show, I was stuck because I saw her personality come out. I was like, Zinya? I thought I was going to have to pull her personality out, but she's pulling mine out.
So it really had to work on me because of the pain and the scars that I've experienced over years. So to a point to myself, I had to say enough was enough.
Correct.
You know, what is it that you really want to do? What is your passion to allow people to really understand who you are, and what is the message that you're trying to create? What are you really wanting to express to the people? I'm a compassionate kind of person, so I really want people to understand I care about them. I care about people in general, regardless of whom they are. Yes, I do usually would carry the world of the shoulders on me, but I know that there is a limit, you know, and then there's sometimes when I just pray and I will have to just literally walk away.
But you know your limits.
But I know I have to know my limits.
And some people don't know their limit. They get to the breaking point
Before
they start to do something different.
I have to know my limits.
When you know your limit, you can say, okay, no, stepping away. Let me do something different right now. I'll see you guys when I'm replenished, strengthened.
I'll come back to
my
you.
mind is right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And everybody can't do that. You know, they all have to have someone to talk to.
Yeah.
And that's why we're glad that you're here today, because
Thank you.
we want all of you to call in. If you have questions, I saw a couple of questions a few minutes ago. And we had a few questions previously, but if you're listening right now and you have a question for Sharon, she's listening. She's ready to answer your question about some things that you might have. You know, there are people who can't. How you doing, De Niro? Shout out to you. We want to just make sure that what you're needing to understand, and that there are people that wants to hear what you have to say.
Yes.
Because there are just certain people that you just don't want to talk to. I get it. There are just some people that maybe you don't want them to know who you are. I get it. There are some people even that you don't want them to know your business. I get it. But you can't keep it inside. You can't keep it inside. Because what happens is it gets to the point where it's uncontrollable. And it turns into something else. And then that other alter ego, the other person will come out because you're bottling up something inside where you can't hold it in anymore.
And then it goes one step further. You know, you have some people that are dealing with suicidal thoughts.
Yes.
And sometimes they don't want anyone to know, you know. So that has been something that I've worked on a lot for the past 3 years. So trying to connect people to the suicide prevention hotline, making sure that they're aware that
Okay.
people are struggling
Yes,
with these
yes.
thoughts. So if there is someone who's watching, there is the suicide prevention hotline. That number is 1-800-273-TALK. 1-800-273-TALK. Just in case you do not have someone to connect with, you do not have a friend, you don't have a therapist, but you need to make a call right now, please call 1-800-273-TALK.
And just one on that note, there are a lot of people out here silently suffering, that are around other people, that have people in their lives that internally wise, like she said, are having thoughts of ending their lives. And if you find that you have one little thought of doing something to harm yourself, just know, first of all, that you're loved, and you're loved by Christ, if no one else. But to know that you can call the number that she just gave and talk it out, get some help. There are people who really are out here that care about you, and that there's nothing that you can go through that there is no hope. So it's a lot of people feel that they've reached that end and there's no hope, and they take their lives, especially young people. Young people, there are so many things that are going on peer wise that are just over the top. I'm a city bus operator, and of the things that are going on in you all's conversation, and I know while I'm at work I can't legally say anything, but there's so many out there hurting and hurting real bad, to the point where if you need that help, or if you need an outlet, find a licensed clinical therapist to sit and talk it out, talk it through. Because if you just talk it out, you'll find that it's not as bad as your brain is making it out to be.
And feel free to call me. I provide free consultation. So even if it's not a good fit for me and you, I will help you connect to another resource. That's one thing I always tell people: the therapeutic relationship begins at the phone call. It does not happen when they walk into the session. And so if you make that phone call, even if you don't come to me, I will work and do my best to connect you to the right resource.
Great.
Can you share your information, your contact information, because there's some who are watching right now that would like to call you personally to receive some services.
Okay. My direct number is 301-875-5680. That number again is 301-875-5680. My email is Sharon Lawrence at myselawellness.com. And you can find me also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at myselawellness.
Now, also too, Sharon, you have, tell us about the anger management sessions or classes that you do, because I know a lot of churches can utilize, especially in the ministerial department. They can use this when they're becoming ministers or in that arena. Any leaders in that capacity can really use that, because they need to know how to handle situations.
Absolutely. There are a lot of churches currently providing anger management classes, but I'm very excited to be starting a new group on November 1st at 7 p.m. The class at this time is full, but there will be another one starting hopefully by December. I am a certified anger management specialist, and I partner with Therapy Works by Angela Hill, who is also a certified anger management specialist, and we facilitate the class together. And so in that class, you learn about the triggers of your anger. You learn about shifting your thought process and how you're responding to stress and depression and anxiety in your life. We're touching on domestic violence. We're literally trying to provide tools and skills. So that people are doing something different to keep themselves out of trouble.
Right.
One of the things that they have to do every week is an anger log. they're tracking their behaviors and situations throughout the week.
Okay.
And the goal is for them to identify the trigger before they even get to
Yes.
the anger level.
Wow.
If they can catch it before they get to the anger level, they can do something different.
Awesome.
It's about the power of choice.
Okay.
And so if you realize in that moment, I have a choice to do something different, like the right thing, I can have a different outcome. But sometimes if you already get to that anger, you've already acted out.
Wow.
Okay.
And sometimes the consequences are greater than what you thought they were
my
gonna be.
favorite line, guys, them silver bracelets.
Yes. And so instead of you coming to me in anger management because you know you need it, you've now been mandated by the courts to come.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Now, tell us a little bit more about these sessions. I know that anger management is one of the highest in counseling, other than suicidal. And what are your observations of your clients when they're coming in? Do they share their concerns about being angry and why they're being angry, or do they just kind of back away and try not to focus on too much of that?
When you're dealing with group sessions, it's always the dynamics are a little bit different because there are some people who want to kind of shy away.
Yes.
But by the second group, they start opening up because they're hearing other people talk about their
Same
experiences.
issue, and a lot of times there's shared issues.
Yes.
The
They're not
shared
alone.
experiences. Right.
They're not alone.
They're not on that island by themselves, and that's where we find too. A lot of people think they're on the island alone.
Yep.
And when you get into a group session or a group therapy, you be like, "Dang, she got an oar in this boat too. She rowing right along with me. You know, I'm not the only one paddling down this river. You know, I'm not by myself."
Right. Make sure you with me.
Yeah, right. And actually, in reading your pamphlet here, it says experiencing challenges in the workplace.
Yes.
I know right now, system-wide with my company, WMATA, we're going through so many management trainings, challenges, and they want to change policies, and they're implementing policies that are crazy, that make no sense, and they want us to follow them, and the stress level is like over the moon, and people are finding themselves irritated, even me. And there's something about my job that I love my job. I love what I do, but I have found that I have woke up in the morning and said, I don't want to go today. And I never really had that feeling, and
The apprehension about stepping
the
in.
stresses that are going on, and it's not what I do, it's the people I'm doing it for that's giving me that stress, that level of anxiety of not starting to not like my job.
Yes.
So when I saw that, there are believe I'm dealing with mine because I like it and my job.
Correct.
But there's people that don't like their job and they're still dealing with those issues.
Yes.
That I found that a lot of things are being said and people are acting out, and then we get these operator assaults that are going on because I'm a firm believer in you give out energy, you get that energy back. So they're giving out that negative energy. And just to give you guys a heads up, she can work with you. She can work with us, guys. We need to go talk to her and deal with some of these experiences that we're having.
Yeah, with workplace issues, it's a big deal. And with policy changes, unfortunately, it happens for two reasons. It's either because there's new management and somebody has new ideas, or something tragic happened and they rewrite the policy.
Right.
And so whenever that happens, everyone feels the impact of it. And the pressure is on to improve, and produce. Everything is about data and productivity.
Right.
Wow.
And so if you're not able to manage up or manage yourself, that's when you, once again, that spiral, it starts to impact your ability to function. And it impacts you in the workplace, in your home, in your
take it
social
home.
life, everything. And at times also your health.
Yes.
You know, stress leads to health problems.
Yes. And it's funny you would say that, because we've had several operators, one that just passed recently, one who just had a stroke. There, I can actually see it playing out in the health realm of the operators that we have working for us, and that's so funny that you would say that. But that's how I see that playing out.
We have a question from Stuart Ransom, who is one of the co-host with the Real Husbands of Largo right here on the WBGR network. His question is, what are we talking about today? The workplace issues.
What are we talking about?
Yes, because, you know, like Javii just said, how we all are going through, a lot of employees, especially in the teachers, shout out to the teachers in Prince George's County, Prophetess Marilyn Blackwell, their teachers who deal with these kids, because I deal with kids too all day, every day, and we really can't talk about the things that we have with the children that we deal with, but on the same token, there are times when we really want to just
Scream.
That's
what we're gonna say. Scream.
Scream and just run away because the children are misbehaving, and we have, because we're teachers, we have to take it. So what can the teachers do? You know, is there physically someone that they could really talk to? Because I know that there's some teachers who are watching now, and my hats are off to all of you men and women who are teachers, teaching these children all ages to college. My hat off to you. Yeah. And they need someone to talk to.
The same applies. Connecting with somebody so that they can sit down and work through how it's impacting them.
Yes.
However, you're talking about a systemic issue of how things are addressed in schools, and normally it's not until something happens that then there's a shift in the response. But unless someone's willing to go to leadership, the superintendent, the principal, it's going to be on either the teachers or the parents probably to speak up more. But I would say, in terms of things impacting you internally, go and sit with someone so that you can address it.
And you do have sessions with children, right?
I do not.
You don't do
Really?
You don't do children?
I am a therapist for therapists and professionals only.
Oh,
and I
wow. So hats off to you.
I see couples, yes.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Okay. No kids, guys.
No children.
So because we have Bishop Coghill from the Bethel Apostolic Church, shout out to Bethel, we have him watching us right now. And because he's a bishop, you know, bishops and clergymen, I'm a clergyman, we minister and always every day praying for our congregations. We're praying for our families as well as those who we're connected to. And we need to come see you. And I understand that we have a ministerial protocol where we have our own counseling, but sometimes we need to go outside of that perimeter and talk to you.
I believe that this is my gift. This is my one-on-one ministry that God anointed me with.
Yes.
So prayer and therapy works.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Prayer and therapy works together. The only difference is that I am a licensed clinician.
Okay.
But if you would go sit in your pastor's office or a church mother's office or who, you know, sit next to them and kind of talk through things, now you're talking to a neutral person that's giving you some other skills that you can use in addition to prayer. Faith without works is dead.
Absolutely. That's
so
right.
You can pray, but if you are not willing to do anything different in your life, how can you see different results?
And even sometimes I find that, I can go talk to pastor, but pastor knows me. And I don't want to reveal something that intimate to him or to her, so that I would feel comfortable. And like you said, you want to get that person in a comfortable state so that they can dig deep. And I personally think, in talking with my bishop or talking with my pastor or my first lady or whomever, I have to continue to see that person.
This is no different than if you were having another health issue.
Mm-hmm.
Mental health is an health issue. It is a health issue. So if you were having chest pains, you're going to see your cardiologist.
Right.
Wow.
If you were having a toothache, you're going to the dentist.
Exactly.
This is no different.
Exactly.
If you're having troubles with your thoughts,
Okay.
and you know you're not managing yourself well, go and speak to a licensed clinician.
Wow.
We have to be licensed by the board just like doctors do.
Right. Exactly.
We have, that is a great point, Sharon. We have a question from Stuart Ransom again.
Okay.
Said, my question is, why do black women work so hard on their jobs, normally overtime, without being compensated? Ooh, good question, Stu. Good question.
I'm not sure I can answer that question.
You did it, Stu.
I think that I can't say that's just women. There are some men who do the same thing.
Okay.
I mean, I know men that work so hard that they've never used a day of leave in the 30 years that they've worked.
30
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying, there are some men
too.
who literally do not take leave. I met a woman who said that she got a payout for like maybe 60 grand at the health fair. She never used a sick day ever.
Isn't that dangerous, though?
No, I'm guilty. You believe it or not, I'm kind of guilty of that. I've just started. And then they came out with this policy because so many people abused their sick leave. But I was one of the, I didn't take off sick. If I could get up in the morning and get myself together, I would go to work and work through it. And then I would find time to maybe run the emergency room. Look, you got strep here, some penicillin, and I take it and I keep moving because I'm that person that's got to keep going and I got to keep giving, So I can see that happening.
Right. Yeah, and I will say I don't know if it's all about making them stop working, but making them be more aware of how to take care of them.
Hi, state your name, where you're calling from. You on live on Javii and Zinya Show. Who are we talking to tonight?
Oh well, we lost you.
We lost connection.
Oh,
there.
I'm sorry, we lost your connection. Well, Zinya, I real quick would like you to do our
Cheers commercial. Of course so. Of course. Just slide it right on over here. Just slide me one of them at least. Oh, you're gonna slide me this. Okay. Well, guess what? Yes, it's commercial time because we're just getting ready to wrap up. But if you had some information that can potentially save your life or the life of someone whom you care about and love, would you share it? Would you really listen? Can we talk today? Why? Because Cherish is a product that is brought to you by the Now We Know campaign, which is sweeping across this nation.
Yes.
It's a very important product that will help many women in reference to their concerns about the harmful effects of sanitary napkins. So thank you so much for watching our show.
Thank you,
Sharon.
Lawrence, I appreciate it.
We think we got to have you back on our show.
Absolutely.
We got to have you back on our show. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for next week. We have Dr. Rashawn Hardy on our show next. Take care, guys.
Thank you.